We've played a bit with this document by moving some text around in order to explore some of our selection and navigation tools, but we really haven't done anything significant as far as creating or changing content or structure. However, this is still the time when we need to understand the ways in which files are saved in Word and some of the options we have in order to finish off our introduction to the Word environment. That way we are ready to get down to some real work in our remaining chapters. We go through a lot of detail on file formats, saving options, and more in the Office 2010 Shared Features series. About 2 or 3 chapters worth, actually. So for all of the details, you might want to review that course, but here it is in kind of a nutshell. First of all, I know that this particular file is in the newer format. Now, I'm not going to go through all of the details, as I said, but I don't see compatibility mode in the title bar. As I've been working with the ribbon, I've noticed that I have new features available. And if I really do scroll down through this document, I'll see several things that are new features. For example, there's a picture here that has some beveled edges and a shadow. And granted, that could just be the way the picture was saved. If I continue to scroll down, though, I will see some additional content, and I know I'm going very quickly here, but we have some tables, and here actually is some smart art. If I click on the smart art, I actually get to see that this is smart art and it has functionality in it as well. What I want to show you, though, is how we can save this back to an older file format. If you need to know why to do that, that's part of that review from Shared Features. But basically, converting something back is just a matter of doing a save as. However, I want to make sure that when I convert it back that it's not going to lose anything important. And how do I know that? Well, I could give you a whole laundry list of things that are a little bit different or not supported in the prior version, but that's the hard way. Instead, let's move up to our File tab, give that a click, and we want to come down and make a choice. From the Check for Issues button, we can give that a little click. We can inspect the document, we can check accessibility, or we can check compatibility. That's the one we want, so we'll give that a click. Compatibility Checker comes up, and it's going to tell us anything that is in this document that will not be supported or not be supported the same way if we save it back to the 97-2003 format. Citations and bibliographies will be converted to static text and will no longer be updated automatically. You may not be familiar with what that functionality is, but basically what I can tell you is all of these things are talking about changing something to static content. So you may not be able to edit them in the old version, but they still will appear the way that they are. Smart Art graphics will be converted. So when I clicked on this, I could have edited it here, but once I save it back, I'm not going to be able to edit it. The thing to remember is the Compatibility Checker can't change anything for you. It's just telling you what issues there are, how many times they occur, and where they are. And that way you can make some good choices. I'm going to say OK. And if I still want to save this file, I'm simply going to do what I've always done on a computer. I'm going to go to File, Save As. Under the Save As type, though, instead of saving it as a Word document, which means Word 2010, I'm instead going to choose one of the older formats, in this case, Word 97-2003. I'm also going to put it right on my desktop, and I'll click Save. It again comes up with the Compatibility Checker by default. I'm just going to say Continue. And that really is all that needs to be done. What happens, though, if we have an older document and we want to move it up? Well, let's again take just a moment to do this. We'll go back to File, and I'm going to close this file. Then I'm going to go to File. I'm going to choose Open. We'll navigate to our project files, which should be on the desktop, in our Chapter 1 folder. And here we can see the 2 files. Now if we kind of expand this out so we can see a little bit more, this is the one that's in the old format. The description says 97-2003. This is the one we've been working with all along, which was in the new format. I'm going to double click the old format, the one that ends in DOC or that says Microsoft Word 97-2003 document. Go ahead and say no if it talks about any links. And notice that in our title bar it says Compatibility Mode. Word can open files in one of 3 modes: Word 2010, Word 2007 Compatibility Mode, and Word 97-2003 Compatibility Mode. We can work in Compatibility Mode, but we won't have access to all of the latest greatest features that Office 2010 provides. To have access to all of that, you need to convert it, and that's what I want to show you how to do. So we know that this one is in the older format. We're simply going to go to File, and we'll see a Convert option. Notice that we did not see this if it was already in the latest greatest format like our old file was. It's only going to show up if it's in the older format. You actually have a couple of ways to convert, and let me tell you what each one of those are. To convert the document without saving a copy of this older format, we're simply going to click Convert. Or we could create a new copy of the document by doing the Save As like we did a minute ago, but choosing the Word 2010 format, the one that just says Word Document. Let's just click Convert. It gives me a little warning that tells me it's going to do what we expect it to do, so we'll say OK. And after just a couple seconds, depending on how complex the document is, you should see that compatibility mode is now gone, and all of your features are available that you would expect in Office 2010. As kind of a closing, I didn't mention all of the different formats that you can save as. We do have plain text, the RTF or rich text file format. We can save things as web pages, several different versions there, and as a PDF file without having to have Adobe Acrobat. Notice that all of the formats that used to be there, like WordPerfect, aren't there anymore. That's because things have settled down a bit, and Microsoft, I guess, kind of figures it doesn't need to accommodate WordPerfect files anymore. But for the most part, people are going to save things as plain text or RTF. The RTF file no longer includes new features and functionality, though. And all of these new features are going to be lost if you save them to RTF, but RTF does allow you to save things in bold and with bulleted lists and with colors and alignment and those kinds of things. If you're going to be working in Word, you should probably keep it in the latest, greatest Word format. But if you have a reason to save it to some of these simpler or more generic formats, they certainly are available from the Save As menu. Well, it's kind of hard to believe that with all that we've learned so far, we haven't actually gotten into creating any documents yet. Don't worry, it's next. But what this does show us is what a deep, rich application Microsoft Word 2010 is, and how much more there is to know beyond just clicking and typing. At this point, you should be comfortable in the environment, as well as being able to navigate, select, and save files. These are the skills that you're going to need to know as you work through everything from the simplest to the most complex documents. Even if you never plan on creating or editing a document, you're still going to need to know how to do at least these things. They create the base of everything that you'll do from this point forward in